everybody, welcome back to the Peffly Ranch. Today we're continuing on the home edition. We're going to be working on the deck in the back and the front porch, getting the entire structure set up, floor system and decking boards and all that. So we're going to be doing that in this video. If you haven't seen, we've got 2 more videos where we were setting up the footers. So we hand dug the ditches and poured the concrete and then built up the foundation wall. Those are in the last 2 videos, and we'll post a link up in the corner for those videos. So check those out if you haven't already. As usual, if you enjoy the content and the video that you're watching, be sure to hit a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the ones coming up. So with that, we'll go ahead and we'll jump in and show you guys what we've done to set up so far, and then we will jump into the work. All right, let's do it. All right, so this is the front porch. As you guys have seen, we've got 21 foot wide, 8 foot deep here. We're gonna run the deck. From there, we're gonna add the ledger board and run that around and put our floor joist and put some decking. It's pretty simple, but what you can see, what we have here, we actually took off the seal plate that we added here. We don't need it because we're putting treated wood right on this, so we don't need that seal plate. So we took that off, and we'll actually just use these straps to tie straight to the rim border boards, the rim joist that we'll have there. And installed the vinyl roll flashing here. This is a 14-inch band, and this goes all the way down just below the edge of the house here, the wood. And we'll put our ledger board on this, which is going to be a 2x10. We'll secure that in with timber drive screws. I think 2 every 16 inches or so. So that'll go all the way down. But as you can see, it's 14 inches, so it'll protect way up above that 2x10. And then we will, you'll see later, we'll have a ledger drip edge that we'll add onto that ledger board also. And then, you know, we'll follow all that up with cutting the vinyl where we need to cut it, and adding a underseal trim to the edge of the vinyl wherever we cut it. That's basically what we've done to prepare. We'll throw the ledger board up there, and let me show you guys on all the posts in the back for the back deck. But for the front porch, it's just these columns that we already built as part of the foundation. So let's head to the back. All right, so here you can see we've got our 2x2 footers that we had these poured when we did the main foundation and everything else. And what we did is we went ahead and drilled the location for all of our post spaces. So we've got these Simpson post spaces for 6x6 posts, and we've drilled into the concrete, added an anchor bolt, this 5-inch 5/8 anchor bolt, and that holds this down. So you just drive that in. We've actually got 2 to do still. We had to get 2 more, so we could do a quick video showing you how we did that, and then you just tighten it down. We're actually going to check the location of these. We ran a line at 8 feet from where we want it against the house to line all this up, and we set all these approximately where we want them, but we're gonna get the posts sort of in place temporarily and check with the post level and see how far we are away. And then we'll lock those in and screw everything in. So we'll show you all that, but we've got all those set up except for these 2, which we'll do. We've got the holes drilled though. I did want to take a quick second on the corner here. What we're doing, we wanted to create a 45 here on the edge, so the corner. We're going to put some stairs here that sort of fan out, and we wanted a 45 to sort of frame it out nicely instead of a harsh corner there. So we're actually doing 2 posts here at the corner. And we were limited on how far we could get those spaced because we already had the pad here, and this was like an afterthought. So anyways, we're putting those, they're about 1 foot. So we'll have about 1 foot in between the corners for that 45. So that's a little bit different, but we'll get those set right, and that'll be a nice look. So anyways, those are all set and running through. So for those, like I said, we'll put the posts in temporary. We'll get them cut to the right height once they're installed. But we'll cut all the big boards or the big posts a little bit taller than they need to be, and then we'll cut them off. after. But anyways, you can see back here, we've got the same vinyl roll flashing all the way around where the back deck's gonna be. So that comes around, and we just tack that in. We just use a hammer tacker. We just tacked it at the top because it's gonna get secured in with those nail or the timber drive screws anyway. So, but I think that's it. I think that's it for all the things that we prepped for beforehand. So we'll go ahead and start with getting some posts cut. We've had longer posts than we need, so we're gonna cut them in half, get them placed out, get things sort of staged up, measure, make sure we're good, tighten things down, and get the banding set in place for the entire perimeter of the back deck and the front porch. All right, let's do it. All right, so just real quick before we get started, I want to show you guys the supplies that we have for all of this and talk real quick about the budget and the cost for these things. So what you can see here is we've got all the wood for all the treated wood, basically for the decks and the porches, and all the hardware that we have, plus of course what we've installed. But I just want to go over it real quick. This is all the wood. We've got 2x10 rim joists and 2x8 floor joists for all of it. We've got our 6x6 posts. We've got 4x4 for some railing, 2x4s for railing, and all of our decking boards back here. That's basically it. We do have a trailer with some longer 6x6 that we're going to cut in half, and that's also going to be for the posts that we're going to put in. So that's that. For the hardware, we've got these strong drive connector screws. So these are the number 10, 1.5 inch. These are going to be for the base, going from the 6x6 post base to the post itself. I think 6 of those, or 8 of those per post. And then we've got these Simpson strong drive timber screws. Those are 4 inch and number 12. And those are going to secure the ledger into the house. So it's going through a couple of 2x10s to get into the house to secure that. And those will go, like I said, 2 every 16 inches. Then we've got our deck screws that we're using. We're just going simple deck screws. We've got number 10 3-inch screws, a whole bunch of those. And then we've got our, this is a vinyl deck ledger drip edge. So we'll put this on the ledger board that we add, just like that picture shows. This is a good picture showing the detail for how the stack up goes for all the components of a deck. So we'll do that and show you guys a little bit more on that when we get to it. But and then we've got some vinyl on the side there. So that's our trim to button off the bottom to make it look nice as it's sort of sitting on the deck there. So that's basically it. All right, for the cost, all these materials, about $4,500 for all the materials, and that's gonna be for 750 square feet of decks and porches. So it's quite a bit of decks and porches, and that's about the cost, $4,500 for all this with the hardware and the wood. And of course, the hardware that we showed you, those post bases and anchor bolts and all this stuff. So that's that. All right, let's get to work. All right, so real quick, I wanted to show you guys putting these post bases on. So this is, again, a Simpson 6x6 post base, and they're kind of expensive, like $24, so that's kind of annoying, but whatever. Then we've got these 5-inch by 5/8 anchor bolts. So they basically just go down, and with compression and tension here, these lock into the concrete, and then you can secure it down. So it comes with a washer and a nut. So basically you want to just preload the washer and nut on. You're gonna put your post base in approximate location you want it. Again, it's got a slot right here, so it helps with a little bit of variants here. We did line these up pretty good, so it should be pretty close, but you want to put your slot the direction that you would want to vary it. So in this case, we're wanting to vary our depth to make sure that we get a precise depth for a deck. So we're putting the slot that way. Then you just drop your anchor bolt in, and then you would hammer it. I'm gonna grab a hammer real quick. All right, yeah, I forgot I needed my hammer. So then you just, you basically wanna just hammer that down and get it down. Oh, these are 4-inch depth holes that we cut with the hammer drill. Just wanna add that in there. So this is gonna go down to the bottom of that. And once it's solid like that, it's basically in place. What we're gonna do this time, because we wanna get our post set exactly, sometimes you can frame the perimeter and then drop your posts, but because of the 45s that we're trying to do, we don't have a lot of pad to work with. So we're actually trying to set the posts first. So we're gonna sort of temp set the poles, measure our distance to the level pole, and then we'll come back. We'll actually crank these down. This is like a 15/16. But we'll just snug it for now. But once we get that exactly where we want it, we'll snug that down, and then we will bolt them in with those Simpson strong drive connector screws. That's basically it. All right, let's keep going. All right, real quick, want to show you guys what we're doing for the posts to get these set. We are snugging down the anchor base to get it in a temporary held spot. Then we are checking level on this. We're setting the post in there, temporary, just setting it in there, holding it level, checking our distance from the house wall, basically, because we've got a specific dimension we're going for it's like 8 foot and I think it's 11/16 we're going for to get our boards evenly spaced, or to have 17 decking boards and have the 3/16 spacing and not have to rip any boards. So that's what we're going for. We'll see if it works out, but that's how we're setting the spacing. So we're setting that from the wall of the house, and we're checking from the other post, make sure we're square. Checking from the house, make sure we're square. We're doing that with a string. We're just measure the distance from this side to the posts and that side to a mark there. You can hold a string. This is just one way you can do it. You can hold your string and basically check square. Make sure that the face of the post is touching the string at the same time. If not, you can twist it and vary it. You can also do that this way with the line of your post that you've got set. Once we get that set, we are screwing it in with our Simpson strong drive screws, or strong tie screws, I think it is. So we've got 8 of those in the base there. And actually, I should just rewind real quick. Once we get that set and we're good with the dimensions and level and everything, we'll pull the post out without messing up the anchor base. And then we're tightening that down to, I think it's 90 foot-pounds or something like that. And then we will set the base back in and check level, check square, do all that stuff again. And once we're good and satisfied, then we'll screw all the screws into the base, and then it's set. And it's pretty solid when you do that. Then we had to cut down because we just cut them to like 6 foot or 5 foot or something like that. So then we're cutting off the top. We're setting our laser, like I said, same way we did with the ledger, setting it off this post base here, which is even with our ledger boards over there. We're marking our posts, and then we're just basically took the circular saw and did 4 cuts, and then there's like a little square in the middle, and you can hand saw that off. So that gets our top base. And then we have to notch out for the rim boards, or the rim joist. So we're measuring 9 1/4 down, and then 3 1/16 deep for two boards that are going to fit in here. And we drew that out and marked it all up. And then we are giving ourselves some guides. So we just took these 2x2s and nailed them down the line that we have here. On both sides, and that gives us a guide, and we're actually going to use the chainsaw, and we'll just chainsaw down to our line here, and we'll take the circular saw and cut a line here. A little bit of hand sawing at the bottom, and that'll take this notch out. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick and show you guys. All right. All right, so there's a little issue there that one of the nails was poking out a little bit, and so it was hitting and it pushed it out, but I got it. So it's a little bit, might be a little bit deeper on this side, but it's still good. We'll go ahead and circular saw that. That's basically it. I'm gonna actually clean up this edge a little bit because when it hit that nail, it bumped it in and it bumped this side out. So I'm gonna take the chainsaw back and clean this side up a bit. That's basically it. We'll do that for all the posts, and that'll fit the 2x2. All right, so I wanted to show you guys real quick, cutting the posts. We actually were using the chainsaw, and it gets messy real quick, and you can make mistakes real easy. So we actually just switched to the reciprocating saw. So we're cutting it with the circular saw. You can see here, we've got nice clean cuts, but we're cutting it with the circular saw on the bottom, and then we're going down the side and the other side, and then we've got a little strip here and a little strip here. And that's what we're cutting with the reciprocating saw. So I'll go ahead and show you guys that. This one's a little different because it's a corner. So we're actually cutting on 2 sides, cutting 2 blocks, notches off the 2 sides. But I'll show you that real quick. All right. All right, so you can see that's a little bit cleaner than the chainsaw was. So we just did that for all of these going down. It's a little more work, shakes you like crazy, but again, cleaner. So this is what we prefer. So that's it for the posts. You can see we've got all of them cut off. This is all going to be flush with the top of the floor joist and everything, rim joist and all that. And then these are all set to 9 1/4, which we may adjust depending on the board sizes. But you can see all of them done now, and we will get back to the perimeter. All right, see ya. Also real quick, just wanted to show you guys, we've got 2 of those timber drive screws going into each board end and post for those securing the rim joist to the post. So that's how we're doing that. And that's all the way down. All right, so we got our chalk line. We're gonna put a line from the ends. The two boards on the ends are actually set like they're supposed to be with the 16th inch gap, so we will just cut the rest. Can you go from the back of your board? Pull it tight, put it on the top. All right, so we've got our blade depth set on the circular saw, and we'll just check that real quick. That is just past thickness of the boards there, so we'll go ahead and just cut down this line. All right, so we're basically going to set, we've got a straight edge on this board here on this side. It's very straight, so we're going to use this as a guide for our saw so we don't make any mistakes, even though we've got the line. All right, so we've got the front porch all wrapped up with the picture frame boards, and everything's good. Still need to do some sanding on some edges and things, but overall this is wrapped up for now. We're actually going to just leave it without the rails and stairs, because we're gonna come back to that after we work on the addition. But this is actually gonna go up to a roof and all that. So let me just show you guys real quick, and then I will go out to the back and show you what we did back there, and then get started on the back decking boards. So this is our picture frame boards. So we ran these on the edges and on the two edges, and then one here. This is for a 4 foot section. This is going to be a little cool area. We're going to have a swing here facing this way. Anyway, so we just sort of framed this up. But we did, like you saw in the video, we routed the edges and sand those, so those are nice. And it's all looking good, and we're happy with what it came out to look like. So, all right, let's head to the back. We'll show you where we are on that. All right, so we've got all the outer banding done on the back. So that was the last thing to finish off the floor system, or the joists and everything. So we've got all that secured in, and that wraps around. We did do some sanding on some of the edges, and we did some hand planing with the power planer, the hand power planer, and got some high spots off that were sort of irregular or sticking up. So we did that, so we're all ready for decking boards on the entire back deck. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into that, and we've got our 45s done on the edges, and that looks good. And so this will come off to steps, sort of flaring out on this corner and the corner on the right side of the house. So, all right, let's do it. Let's do some decking boards and get this wrapped up. All right, so that's a wrap on the back deck and front porch. We are done with that. It took us quite a while to finish. We picked the hottest weeks of the year, not on purpose, but it just landed that way. It took us about 6 weeks over time. We weren't focused on this. We were also focused on another special project, but we worked on this the majority of the time. Just want to go over some things real quick that we learned, the stuff that we did, budget stuff and stuff like that. So just real quick, decking boards and finished off corners. These corners, we wanted the stairs to come off of these corners, sort of flaring out. So we just, we had this corner set here. So we got these boards, and then we had to trim the decking board. So this piece of decking board is actually not the same thickness or width as these because of the 45-degree angle. So we had to trim this to fit, and then we also trimmed the other boards around it. So it looks nice, we like it, and these are just sanding marks. It'll all go away once we paint and stain and stuff like that. But so yeah, we got all the decking boards on there. There's about 3,000 screws, so we had to do 2 of the big buckets, and my hands are hurting because of all that. And just all the other work in general, but a lot of screws. So I will say it's probably worth it, but it is a lot of extra work to do the screws instead of nails. But we got it all in. All the stuff is secured down, and we're not going to have any nails popping out or anything like that. So I'm pleased with the results. Some of the things we did, like I showed you the spacers that are included with the Deck Plus nail or Deck Plus screws. We set 1/16 inch spacing, and then used the side spacing template basically to set the distance of the screws away from the edge of the board. So we ran that all the way through, screws on the center of the joist all the way. For that, a lot of boards are bananaed, so you got to get some leverage down further to close the gaps, and or if you need to open the gaps, just pull the board. All right, so one of the other things that's important to note that we learned, I would say decking boards, cup up, cup down. So they say to use the growth rings here in the board to determine, and put the bark side down, because what's going to happen is the way that it shrinks, it's going to cup in a certain way, and that is typically going to be with the bark down, it's going to cup up. And you want that so that your rain will flow off the sides and not puddle up in the middle. But you can see here, and what we learned is that that's not always true. So some boards will go the opposite way, and you can see this one is cupped this way, and the growth rings are this way. So this is opposite of what they say online and in the articles that you'll read. So anyways, what to do about that, I don't really know, because it's hard to tell until your board is dry. So I don't know, pick a guess, pick which side you think is best, or if you can tell beforehand which way it's bowing, and then hope for the best. I don't really know what else to say other than that. We've got about half and half. So we are seeing as it's drying, some going the ways that we don't want it, but we're just gonna deal with it, and it's fine. If we wanna flip them over, we can, because we just screwed them in. So we can unscrew them and flip them over if we really care that much, but it's just a lot of work. So anyways, that's that for the decking boards. And let me show you the decks. So we'll go ahead and up here. We are very excited to have this. Now we can sit out, enjoy some relaxation on the decks and some meals, and just sit out and enjoy it. It's pretty big, it's pretty spacious. We're gonna have a lot of good times out here. So again, we ran these picture frame boards. You can see how they work. Basically just sectioning off. This is an 8-foot section, and then we got a 16, 16, 16, 16, and then finally an 8 at the end. But we basically just ran like you saw, just making those nice. But anyways, you can see some of our spacing is growing. That was the other thing I wanted to mention. We did use that 16th inch spacer, but you know, treated wood. It's crazy, it's unpredictable. You can't really tell what it's gonna do, but most of the time it's gonna shrink. So maybe next time I would just butt it straight up together. But we did want to see the joist so that we could get good straight lines on the screws. So I don't know, you can balance what you like there. But the spacing's not terrible, but it is growing. It'll probably grow a little bit more as this stuff dries out, but we're fine with how it looks. So yeah, coming on out, and then this makes the turn, and we've got this nice corner section where we had to run that picture frame board diagonal. So that turned out real nice. So that runs in right here, and you can get a close in right here and see we had to trim the ears of that board and make that all fit in nicely. But it's all sanded down, feels smooth, and everything's good. So then that comes on down here and finishes off with just a standard corner here. Not much to show, but that's the deck. So we've got, I believe it's 38 by 38 in the back, and then the front porch, like you saw, is 21 foot. We are going to just, stop for now on the decks and porches. And what we're going to do is come back later and put in stairs and rails. We're not actually sure how we want to do the rails. We really enjoy the view, so we don't really want to block everything. So we're trying to figure that out. But we'll come back later after the addition is enclosed. We'll come back to this probably in a couple months, add some stairs, add some rails, or whatever we decide to do for that. But in the meantime, we're going to enjoy it just like it is. We've got our temporary steps up that we had against the house before. We've got just this one sitting right here, and then the one at the back entrance there. So those will do for now, and we're going to enjoy it as it is. So budget, I think we ended up taking some wood back that was pretty busted that we were going to use for railing and things like that, but we decided not to do that now. The wood was busted anyway, so we took it back. We got some credits back, so I think we're in probably a little over $4,000 for all of this, for all the deck and porch stuff that we just did with hardware and wood. So not bad on the budget, and I can't remember the total number that we're up to so far, but we have ordered the trusses for the addition and need to go through and order the rest of the material for the addition, and then we'll start on that part next. With that, we're going to be working on the floor system for the addition. So that'll be a bunch of 2x10s basically, and then we're going to stage it step by step, covering it up as we go until we're ready to have all the floor system, the walls, and everything, and just throw it all up in a hurry and then get it dried in. So that'll be in an upcoming video, so look out for that. Anyways, I know this was a longer video. This was a very long process for us, way more than we expected. But we're glad that it's done. We're gonna take a break for a little bit, but I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and look out for the ones to come. But as usual, I forgot how I even say it. As usual, like, subscribe, share, and enjoy. God bless.